Greetings everyone, this is Dominick from the Comic Book Report YouTube channel, over here doing another guest review for organicpricedbooks.com. And today I'm really excited to talk about a Marvel Omnibus edition. That's right, we're taking a look at Miles Morales' Spider-Man by Saladin Ahmed Omnibus. This has been on my wish list to read pile for some time, and I had so much fun making my way through it. For those that don't know, this can kind of be considered a Volume 3 for the Miles Morales Omnibus line, as it takes place directly after the run by Brian Michael Bendis. A couple things about the book. The issues in this collection were primarily written by Saladin Ahmed and penciled primarily by Chris Allen, Carmen Carnero, and more. The comics in this volume were first published by Marvel Comics beginning in 2018. As far as what this omnibus collects, it includes Miles Morales Spider-Man, the 2018 series, issues 1 through 42, Absolute Carnage Miles Morales, issues 1 through 3, Miles Morales The End, and material from Miles Morales Spider-Man Annual Issue 1, Free Comic Book Day 2019, Spider-Man Venom, Incoming Issue 1, and The Amazing Spider-Man, the 2018 series, issues 49 and 81. And finally, this is an oversized hardcover edition with glossy print paper stock, a sewn binding, and a total of 1,160 pages. Looking at the front cover of the dust jacket, I will say this is the direct market cover for this omnibus. I'll throw up a quick thumbnail of the standard edition cover for this book. The only other changes between the editions, other than this front cover, is also the image that's included on the bottom of the spine, which you'll see momentarily. In my mind, the superior cover is this direct market cover in my hands here. It's so sharp, stunning, and I love just seeing Miles in action. And here's our look at the aforementioned spine. I love that we have a field of black with the Miles Morales Spider-Man kind of logo and font punching out at you in white and red. Very, very cool. Marvel Omnibus logo, of course, and then that picture of Miles at the bottom. Again, the image on the standard edition cover might be slightly different, but otherwise, everything else should be the same. Really like the design of this book. It looks great on a bookcase. Couldn't be happier with this direct market cover. On the back of the dust jacket, we have one of the covers from the issues that kind of pay homage to the Into the Spider-Verse kind of animation style. At least that's what it's evocative to me. We have some text about the book, what it contains, pricing information, things like that. All pretty straightforward, but I have to say I love the layout for this dust jacket. And now for the next minute, I want to examine that dust jacket one final time. This time we'll be taking a look at the interior flaps, and I'll hold everything out at a glance so you can just see it all at once. And then after that, we'll go ahead and transition to the Under the Dust Jacket hardback book itself, and we can take a look at the art that's printed on the hardback itself. Overall, like I said, I love the just art direction and design for this dust jacket. I'm actually shocked this wasn't chosen as the standard edition cover. I think it's that fantastic. And as we begin to take a look at the hardback book itself, we have some art printed from the collection. We have Miles Morales Spider-Man fending off against some other enemies that I won't spoil for you. Suffice it to say, this was a great art grab for the printing on this book. It's surprising, it's dynamic. I love that we still have predominantly that black and red color scheme, and I just think it really pops and looks so great. And as you can see as I spread it open, it is a full wraparound cover as far as the image goes across the hardback. Really beautiful stuff. It's just dynamic, interesting, and I just think they made a great choice for this. Okay, now that we've examined the exteriors, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the binding for all you prospective collectors out there. I will say, at least for my edition, I didn't have an overly huge eye here. However, I think the binding was really nice. I think it laid out fairly flat. Yes, there was a little bit gutter loss, but I think overall the edition was really well bound. And for an omnibus this size, I really don't have any complaints here. And now that we've done that, we can go ahead and break into the book proper, and I will say right from the jump, as I open the book up, on the left side of my copy, there's a little white line that might be mistaken for a spider web. Rest assured, this is actually a little bit of a rip in my book. This is not a detail cosmetically in all these collections, to my knowledge, but I just wanted to throw that out there. It is supposed to be a black end page. Mine just happens to have a small tear. With that note out of the way, as you've seen, we kind of have the title page, publication information, creative breakdown, things like that, and then we basically jump right into the first issue of this run. So this kicks off a brand new volume for Miles Morales, a brand new issue number 1, and this is with Saladin Ahmed at the helm. So he is the first writer to take over the Miles solo title after Brian Michael Bendis. I said it earlier as well, but I will repeat it because I think it's worthwhile to do so. This can be considered a Volume 3 for all you Miles Morales Omnibus collectors out there. This is the very next solo series after Bendis left the title at the end of Volume 2. What I like about this book, though, is that it is a good on-ramp for new readers, especially if you don't want to go back and read the Bendis era, which I would recommend. I am a huge fan of what Bendis did with this title and with Ultimate Spider-Man in general, but Saladin Ahmed really just makes his own claim for this character, and he establishes his first handful of issues in such a way that it's a great on-ramp for brand new readers. Maybe they've seen the Spider-Verse movies and want to get to know more about the character, and maybe this book appealed to them over Bendis's, and honestly, I think that this is a perfectly fine place to start. Again, I'd recommend the early Bendis work and just reading it comprehensively, but luckily, I think Ahmed really does have his cake and eat it too, as far as making it so accessible to brand new readers, while also honoring the legacy of what came before. I think the characters absolutely feel like they did under Bendis, but they also get to deepen, mature, change in some ways, making them just really dynamic. Another piece that Ahmed brought to the table here, I think unlike what Bendis did with Ultimate Spider-Man, which was still fantastic, I think in that world he really relied on larger, more pre-existing Spider-Man and Marvel Universe villains, versus Ahmed, I just have this feeling like he's introducing more villains for Miles to take on specifically. And I do think that some of them were hits and misses, at least for me, but I think a lot more of these newly created characters really hit for me more than they missed. I really get to see more shades of Miles' personality, the kind of interior life and turmoil that he battles in and of himself, and just to see him emerge as his own hero in his own right. He is not a copy of Peter Parker, and that's honestly a great thing. He's every bit Spider-Man, but he's doing it his own way, and it really just works. The supporting cast for Miles Morales I've always felt was rather strong, with all of his family and friends, things like that, but we really got to see more from them in this volume than we had in a bit, and I liked it. I can agree with almost every single choice Ahmed made for most of this book, and that delights me as a longer-term Miles Morales fan. I will say, for whatever reason, I heard a lot of mixed reviews about this book, but I was delighted to see that I fell on the side of positive as a reviewer. In fact, in my read-through, there were points where I really struggled to put this book down, reading story arc after story arc, and that's another note I'll make. This does have overarching, longer-term story payoffs throughout it, but there's also a lot of smaller, more insulated story arcs as well, so you feel like you get a lot of stories within this one massive tome. In addition to the 42-issue run, we have kind of the little special The End, clips of incoming, some Spider-Man issues, and all 3 of the Miles Morales Absolute Carnage tie-in issues, which take place during the Absolute Carnage event, which I believe was written by Donny Cates, but we have Ahmed's issues, and we get to see how Miles Morales dealt with all of that stuff. I really like it, and I think that you do have a feel for Miles' role in the greater Marvel Universe, while still feeling like this is his own private corner of that universe in his solo title. As far as the art direction goes, we have several different pencilers on this book, and you've been able to see a handful of the samplings of the art in this book as I've been flipping through. I will say the art was pretty consistently good in my mind. We had a couple pencilers that were maybe I'll call outliers, that style choices were quite a bit different, that maybe pushed me out of the narrative slightly issue to issue, but for the most part, we have a lot of consistent art, or at least for story arcs, so you get to feel like you get good sizable chunks without them shifting gears as far as the art direction. I don't know if I liked the art quite as much as the previous Miles Morales Omnibus releases, but I still found it to be really nice, and there was parts of this run where the art just jumped right off the page for me. I still really liked it. It had its own distinct style, but that's kind of where I landed with the art. Overall good, but maybe not the series' best, at least in my opinion. And as we make our way to the back end of the book, we do have an extensive variant cover art gallery amongst a couple other extras, which was a delight to see at the end of an already large and really gratifying collection. This was a really fun omnibus. In fact, it was one of the better Spider-Man omnibuses I've read in a bit, and I know Miles is still kind of starting out, but I would still consider this a definitive Miles Morales run. I think it gets overshadowed a lot by what Bendis did, but I still think that this is a worthwhile entry into this burgeoning character's mythos. And that's our quick overview of Miles Morales Spider-Man by Saladin Ahmed Omnibus. If you want to pick up your own copy, please look at organicpricedbooks.com, and if you want a more extensive review of this title, please check out my channel, The Comic Book Report, in coming weeks. Thanks again, everyone, and have a good one.